believe a woman should have the right to make a decision about what happens in her body. It's her body. I don't see a waiting list to get a vasectomy.
Give him out free.
Can you say that one more time? Say that
I don't see a waiting list to get a vasectomy. I don't see you having to wait 48 hours and, and the scary thing, there's men running around here getting vasectomies and not telling their spouses. But then a wife has to tell her husband? Okay, help me understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
I come from I was raised by my father, my grandfathers, both paternal and maternal grandfathers. I had them both. I had uncles in my life, but I had some strong women. The interesting thing, I had great grandmothers. I didn't have great grandfathers. I had two great grandmothers in my life, great aunts. I love what the women of my family historically have been able to accomplish. My great grandmother raised 8 children after my great grandfather passed away. And, my mother, my grandmother, women had the ability to do everything with a smile. But then you're going to tell me she cannot make a decision for her own body. I'm confused. I believe men need to stay in their own lane. And if there's an issue, there's a woman that'll tell her husband, there's an issue with this. But at least, let the woman decide what's best for her and for her body.
I'm going to ask you to promote free plain B pills.
Oh,
No brainer.
yeah.
They should be on every street corner.
Okay. I'm going to say this, I'll probably get in trouble for this. I was telling some young men at the barbershop not too long ago. I said, y'all need to get out and vote. There's 2 issues on the Florida bill that affect not only women, but men. I don't care how you vote, but you need to vote. 1 is the abortion bill, and 2 is marijuana. However you feel about it, y'all need to vote. Because again, it's what your lives can be ever changed by a decision you make in the heat of the moment, under peer pressure, or whatever, at a young age, that the rest of your life can be, the trajectory of the rest of your life be changed forever. We all need to get out and vote.
Now, give me 1 second. Now, James, I do want to ask you this question. How do you plan on tackling systemic racism and improving racial equality within the law enforcement when you go to Washington? You waiting for that one?
First of all, we gotta have tough conversations. We have to have uncomfortable conversations.
Did y'all hear me back to back the question that I asked? How do you plan on attacking systemic racism, especially when it comes down to law enforcement and government when you go to Washington?
First, you have to have uncomfortable, tough conversations.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. I make my potato salad different than somebody else in this room. But we don't want to act. We want to act like there's no differences. There are differences, and it's all right to be different. That's what makes America so great. But understanding, the first problem is it's all right to be different.
Yes, right.
Okay? Because now when I acknowledge the fact that we are different, then I can have honest conversations on how am I to treat you and how you should treat me.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do we do it from a federal level? Start off by saying, guess what? There's some uncomfortable things we need to talk about. Right. We just need to talk about it. We see, it's real easy to hide behind systemic racism when we won't even talk about the history of our nation. The patty trollers, what they really started from. Having real conversations that it was really a group of militias sent to find runaway slaves. That's where, those were things that we have to have genuine conversations with, because the truth is, we can talk about Blue Lives Matter, but it only seems to matter when it's blacks erroneously affecting whites. But blue lives don't even matter when whites are attacking other whites. So it's a race thing. January 6th would have been totally different. Yeah, January 6th would have been totally different if that was black folks climbing the steps of the state house. They would have been picking us off from helicopters. So having you have to, and then also allowing people to be themselves. Here I go again. People of color, black folks, are one of the only cultures that are not allowed to celebrate and keep our culture. Because something's wrong with that when you're dealing with systemic racism. Don't leave the culture. Chinatown, there's been a Chinatown in almost every major metropolis that I can find. German village, Italian village. Everybody gets to keep their culture. Blacks is the hood, the ghetto. And all of those have negative connotations.
But it's celebrated in music.
Well, yeah, music, because again, we also monetize.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know you are, but I'm being serious. We also monetize our struggles.
Right.
And we allow others to make light of it
because what I'm saying that is the music industry and TV and movies, they'll show the hood, the ghetto, but black people not necessarily are making money off of that, but it's somebody else in power that don't look like us that's making money off of it.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about law enforcement,
Yes.
we got to have those hard conversations. And that's one of the things that has to start from the top down. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw that you were endorsed by the Council for American Islamic Relations.
Yes.
Can you speak specifically about your approach to the genocide that Israel has been perpetrating for 76 years?
Okay, and let me say this, because a lot of times when people see it, I've shared this with my web designer people, that we need to add some of our other endorsements to. The reason why I'm endorsed by the CARE, because I shared with them that my focus, I understand what's going on over there, but I'm going to Washington, D.C. first and foremost for the constituents of District 6. And we need peace here before we can go talk about peace over there. And even though what is happening over there is an atrocity, it is terrible. No one should be playing baseball or soccer or football and have to worry about a bomb dropping on them. But here in America, our children should not be afraid to go to school without somebody with an AR, whatever. So even though I am vehemently against it, I'm endorsed by a rabbi here in Central Florida, because I called him first to tell him that I was being approached by CARE. And he said, Bishop Stockton, because I know you and I know your heart, he said, hold on, what is your conversation with them? That just like I would for any other constituent, I will be an ear for them to speak to. But primarily, I'm going to focus on the peace of American citizens first and foremost. Everything else, I have to be further educated on. I have to be.
Why is it either or? It can be both. And we have munitions factories right here in this county that are supplying weapons of mass destruction that are being dropped on the women and children over there. So I think it can.
But it's been going both ways. Well, now see, here's the interesting thing. We're focused, again, I have to be careful. We're focusing on what's happening over in Gaza. But what about Haiti?
Oh, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, so my answer is, and it's not an either or, so maybe I should have said that. It's not an either or, it's really a both and. But my primary focus is, listen, before we start running everybody else's house, we gotta focus on America too.
That's right.
You know, and again, I'm telling you, I do not support what has been happening in Gaza. I do not.
Can you put that on your website?
It is.
Oh, I didn't see it. I
Yes.
saw that you were endorsed, but I couldn't.
Yeah, if you would read further on in my policies, it talks about where peace is my concern.
Great.
Now, we do have some online questions, and I want to bring this to James really quick. So, one of the questions by Marcus is, how do you feel about protecting HBCUs as well as your stance on student loan paybacks and affordable college?
HBCUs are a must. It's a must. And I say it's a must because I worked at one for many years. I worked at the great West Virginia State University, in Institute, West Virginia. Go Yellow Jackets.